Well, I think we've just launched the show, guys.
Hello. Are we here?
Yeah, we're here.
I didn't even know we were recording.
I know, we're recording. That's how we fly, right?
I know.
Well, all right, guys. Well, that's no surprise. The guest here is James Liotta. Hey, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. We finally made it happen.
I know. Well, thanks to you. I mean, you're very busy, and you said on your story today you had this morning. You came in here, and then you might be going to the comedy club later, so I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, look, it's been a busy time because I'm from Melbourne, so I'm here in Sydney with you. But you got to make it worth, your while you're here. 100%. Try and kill a few birds with one stone, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, without dabbling too much, you've had over 20 years of experience through comedy and acting and filming, so you've got a lot of experience on your side. I'm going to dabble a little bit different through mindset stuff, through other things where maybe you haven't been asked or maybe you have, but more for the viewers that don't know more about you.
Sure.
So my first question is like, what made you want to start from the youngest of age, and what made you think you could do it?
Yeah, it's a good question. Okay, so in a nutshell, my father, who's no longer with us, but my father, he used to write and stage Italian plays for the community, written in Italian. He's a very good writer.
Yeah,
and they were in fluent Italian. And so I had an experience of theatre through my father, who used to stage these plays. Sometimes they were dramas, sometimes they were comedies. He wrote all sorts, and he did it for over 15 years at least.
Oh, okay.
And I got involved in them as a young child through acting, and then as I got older, I actually directed some of them for him.
Yeah, wow.
When I was sort of in my early adulthood, basically.
Yep.
So that was my initial start into theatre. And really, I was performing in Italian to begin with.
Okay.
But performing is performing.
Yes.
The language you use is kind of irrelevant. Performance, stagecraft is stagecraft, wherever you go across the world.
Yep.
So that was my initial entry into it all. But then I noticed that even at school, I would get involved with all the theatre stuff, not so much sports stuff. I was a thespian.
Okay.
They call it thespian.
Yes, cool.
And I was always into the arts.
Yep.
And so I had a knack for it. And then we'd do a school play, and I'd always land the lead role and this and that. So there was obviously something there that I gravitated to.
Yep.
And then as I grew up, I just pursued it more as a career.
Yep. Okay.
So that's the short story to how I got involved.
Okay, so that's a funny one, because you see entertainers in school or friendship circles, but yet put them on the stage, they don't become the entertainer, right?
Well, this is the misconception. Is when you go out with your mates and they go, "Oh, mate, you are hilarious. You should try stand-up comedy. You're hilarious." I don't doubt they're hilarious. They probably are very, very funny. But they're funny to you. They're funny in that circle.
Yeah.
Being funny in front of strangers who owe you nothing.
That's right.
That's the real test, whether you're a performer or not.
Yep.
Now, the person in your circle might even be funnier than some comedians out there, but not on stage.
Yes.
On stage, they wouldn't know how to handle themselves.
100%.
But in your friendship circle, it's different.
Yeah, see, I think I'm funny if you give me ammo. And if I'm stressed, I'm funny. But get me to create a joke or stand there, I'm not that person. It's just not my thing.
It's not your thing. Yeah. That's it. Everyone has their thing.
100%.
So I think we can all be funny people. Most of us can be funny people, but then being a comedian is a career, is an actual job. It's an art.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
Right. And then in that art, there's different levels of how good or not so good you might be.
Correct. Yeah. And you're very believable with your work that you've done across the years, which is pretty funny to watch, which is great.
Oh, thank you.
I came in today's podcast with the open mind, thinking, who am I going to get today? I'm going to get you, I'm going to get Maria, I'm going to get Pascal.
You never know. You never know who you're going to get.
With those characters, why them, and what's the connection for you, and is it part of you in different ways, through a different voice?
Well, yeah, I guess it is. Well, first of all, I do, as you know, a lot of Italian-based comedy. So some people like to call it WOG comedy. Some people like to call it ethnic comedy. Whatever pleases you is fine. It's comedy based around your ethnicity, about the way you grew up, your family, all that sort of stuff. But many different people can relate to it. I'm Italian, the Greeks, Macedonians, Serbians, we all kind of grew up in similar family formations. So that's the primary comedy I tackle. And then the characters that I do, like the Maria and Pasquale, which are symbolic of mums and dads.
Correct.
And I'm not the only one out there doing this kind of stuff, of course. They are an amalgamation of various people that I know or have met. So people go, oh, is that based on your mum? Not really. There's elements based on my mum, but it's my auntie, it's my mate's mum, it's my mate's nonna. It's just amalgamation of bits that come together and you make it your own.
That's right.
And I got into it because as I just said, I've loved comedy and I've loved performing all my life. And when I was young, I looked at people who were still around, people who were doing that style of work, and you have this sort of, you grow this love for it and go, I want to do that too. But obviously you got to make it your own. You got to find your own uniqueness.
That's right.
So that it's not a direct copy of what someone has done.
That's right.
It can be similar, but it can't be a copy.
Correct. Yeah. So with that, because, now that I've dabbed into some form of acting, because I'm trying to be a Zoolander now.
You've got the looks for it. You've definitely got the hair.
Oh, for Zoolander?
Yeah. You got
Magnum or Blue Steel?
You got to get the blue.
I can't turn left
Blue
yet.
Steel. I can't because I got a neck ache, but anyway.
Yeah. So there you go, right? And it's about being truthful in the moment of acting, but also how much are you connected from your own personal life into the character, or how do you disconnect the emotion attached to Maria or Pascal and be that person without realizing it's you in that role, and not kind of get so consumed and know when to separate?
Well, my take on any performance, whether it's parody comedy or straight acting, is that, and I was taught that you actually, this whole conception about you must be fully in the role, no, you should never be fully in the role, because the role needs a part of you, of who you are in that role.
Yes.
And that's the part that troubleshoots things. So I'll give you an example. If you're on stage in a play or whatever it is, and you're fully consumed and you're in this role, and something around you goes wrong, you can't. You're so out of character, out of yourself, that you can't troubleshoot it.
Yep.
But a skillful actor will troubleshoot it while still performing. Will go, oh, that guy just forgot his lines.
Yes.
That's your actual brain working behind, going, right, he forgot his lines, so I'm going to skip that.
Yep.
But if you're just the role, you can't do it.
Yes.
And then you get lost.
True.
So lost
agree
in
with
the
that.
role,
Yeah.
So you should always have some element of yourself in anything that you perform.
Yeah. 100%.
To keep you together as a person.
Yeah. And would you say you take on life like that as well, in a way, day to day?
Good question. Keep myself in myself during life.
Yeah.
I just try to remain as grounded as possible, really, and just look at things from a realistic point of view.
Yeah.
You
look very grounded.
I have thanks. I have everyone's got dreams. But I like to live in the reality of what my possibilities are and work towards those possibilities.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to dampen anyone by going, oh, that's too far-fetched for you. No, nothing's too far-fetched, but we all have our own reality.
Yeah.
And we all have our limits as well. And I think
Yep.
it's important to recognize your limits. And it's when you don't, is when I feel, my opinion, is people start to fail, when they don't recognize their limits.
Yeah.
Work towards the strengths that you do have, that you've been born with, that God's given you, whatever it is that the universe has given you, whatever it is for you. Work towards those strengths, because
100%.
sometimes if you try and outdo yourself, we're not all put on this earth to do everything we've dreamt of doing. It's just, that's not the reality that I believe.
No, I agree. And I do forms of mindset coaching, because I've really fucked up in life a lot, so I can qualify to help people, right?
Fair enough. Well, you've learned by mistakes, as the saying
That's right.
goes, yeah.
And exactly what you said, it's about knowing your lane and staying in your lane, but mastering your lane. And
Correct.
as a saying goes from Einstein, if you tell a fish to climb a tree, it will live the rest of its life thinking it's crazy, because it's meant to be in the water, so it would never climb a tree.
Yes.
So as well as confident I am and I can tackle the world, I'm never going to run for a president of America.
Yes.
Because I don't know politics, and I don't want to know politics.
Yep.
But the way you said about dreams and what you know, which is great, it's like fantasy and imagination. Fantasy isn't real. Imagination has logic, which means you can achieve those goals.
Correct. And I think you hit the nail on the head with the word logic. You've got to be logical even about your own self and your own life. So you've got to be realistic, you've got to be logical. And I think you've got to be honest with yourself, especially in the performing arts. There's so many of us out there.
Yeah.
And your success can be ticked off by many different factors, whether you're financially successful out of it, for example, or whether you've got a lot of people that come and see you.
Yep.
But there are, and I'm not going to name anyone, of course, but there's a lot of people out there that are in this business, maybe shouldn't be. I'll just say it like that. They shouldn't be in this business. But they keep pursuing it, because they have a dream. But I don't think that's the destiny of your life.
Yep. No, that's a fair point.
And some people might not like that comment. But it's the arts, and we see all sorts. I also recognise that it's very subjective. The arts is subjective.
Yeah.
Comedy is very subjective.
Yes.
And what makes one person laugh doesn't make another person laugh.
Yeah, and with comedy, I'm sure you've had many times people complaining about the comment you make or whatever like this, but do you try and encourage people to go in with the idea this is comedy, this is meant to be an open mind situation, don't take any offense or anything, but is it hard to not? And is there certain comedy that you would stay away just to avoid confrontation?
I personally would.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I don't like other prominent comedians doing that material. It's just not material for me. It's not material that I believe I can make funny.
Okay, yep.
As myself. As whatever brand that I want to put out there.
Yep.
But that doesn't necessarily mean I wouldn't laugh at a joke about that if Ricky Gervais does it.
Yeah. Okay,
Because he knows the way to handle it. He knows how to do that sort of stuff. I also think that there are too many people starting out trying to go there straight away.
Straight away to the top, right?
And you can't.
No.
You can't go there straight away. You can't be Ricky Gervais or Chappelle in your first year of comedy.
Correct.
And you can't have the excuse, well, if Ricky does it, I can do it. No, Ricky has worked all his life. He's a worldwide name. It is a different
100%.
different level of person and of comic. You know what I mean? So start with the things you know that you believe in. That you truly know from a source.
Yep.
Because then you can expand on that truthfully.
That's right.
And find the humor if comedy is what you're doing. Find the humor within that.
So who would you say your role models were growing up, both Australia and worldwide, in comedy, if it was comedy?
Comedy.
Or who would be your mentors?
Here in Australia, I am always...
You can have water, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. A sip of water. There we go.
It's really nice water.
That's a commercial break.
Yeah.
It's good water. Did you make that yourself?
I know, it's from the mountains of mine.
Fantastic. You climbed them?
Yeah, both hands.
Here in Australia, I look towards people who have achieved goals from almost nothing.
Great.
And that's where social media has changed all that dramatically. But the people that I'm entertained by are people that you relate to on a it's the relatability of the content that they're talking about, whether that be family or general observational stuff. Most people love observational stuff, you know, things that we're all thinking about that we don't say.
Yes.
And then comics go out there
and say it.
Yeah. And then make a great gag about it. So, I mean, I grew up with Australian comedy of people like The Comedy Company, you know, Full Frontal, all that sort of stuff. I grew up in that kind of area. The Late Show, which is the Working Dog, which is all the people that make Have You Been Paying Attention? Thank God You're Here, all that sort of stuff. They make that sort of stuff. And those people have always been very successful because A, they knew how to be funny without being filthy. And I still think that is a true form of being a great comedian. It's okay to be filthy. It's fine. There's a great audience out there for it. There's great gags and jokes. But I do believe that if you can get that same level of laugh without going to the filth.
Yeah. That's interesting because I learned that in acting school recently where the roles, and I mean, I do swear a lot only because, I mean, through my sport, playing football, it's like, fuck yeah, pass me the ball. Like, it's kind of used a lot. But in the acting scene, I naturally wanted to swear, and the coach was saying, don't swear in your head, but don't say the word, and try and take what you're saying through the word,
Yeah.
through the action.
Yeah.
And it was quite interesting. And if you don't know how to do that, like what you're suggesting, you're just going to be a person who just says fuck every 2 seconds.
Yeah, which becomes really boring after a while.
But see, your energy is also not suggest that you would swear. Because my partner, right, does not swear.
Yeah.
I do, and I don't have to, but I do. With her, I don't have to. While I'm having this podcast with you now, I don't have a need to swear on this podcast today with you, because your energy and your style shows that you don't actually need to do it. Where
No, I don't believe so. I mean, I swear with my mates.
Of course.
I swear with I swear in the car.
Yeah.
That sort of
but you
stuff.
can show it
Yeah.
without actually using the word.
Yeah.
So I respect that.
But it's not just it's not just the swearing. It's the filthy content.
Yes.
And look, most times they're not. It's gags around sex and
Correct.
grotesque
Yeah.
stuff around.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying there's plenty of funny things, but some new comics think I got to talk about
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
You don't. You don't necessarily have to talk about that, because if you're new and that's all you're giving me, and I'm seeing you for the first time, I'm like, right, well, he or she just talks about their sex life, like that's it.
Yeah.
That's only funny for a certain amount of time.
Correct. So if you were starting out now in today's world, would you use the same approach that you did before, or how would you navigate to make yourself?
Let me tell you, it's hard. It's hard
Yeah.
because most comics are filthy when I go and do lineups.
Yep.
Or can be filthy.
Yep. Okay.
And again, I'm not saying it's not funny. What I'm saying is then you come along with non-filthy material,
Yep.
but now the audience is desensitized to the filth.
That's right.
So then I come along halfway through and have no filthy material,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're all waiting. Where's the filth?
Yeah. Okay.
Where's the swearing?
Right. So yeah.
And that actually, I put pressure on myself about
Okay.
that, because I don't do a lot of filth.
You put pressure on yourself that you.
Yeah,
have to
because
try and adapt, or?
like they're laughing their heads off because the last 4 comics have been really dirty.
Yeah.
I can't match that.
Yes,
I can't match the dirtiness.
Yeah,
Are they
yeah.
still going to laugh at my content? Luckily, I've had good success, good laughs even with my content.
Yeah.
Which that proves to me that you don't need
True.
to go.
Yeah. That is funny because you connected with so many people's families, like what you said.
Well, that's right. A lot of the sketches are about
Yeah.
connecting on things that do happen in our families,
Yeah.
and obviously exaggerating them.
That's
and why do you
right.
exaggerate? Because it's comedy.
Exactly.
That's why you have to exaggerate
Yeah.
it. They go, oh, but it's a stereotype. Yeah, but stereotype that's what comedy lives.
Exactly.
In character. It lives in stereotypes. And I don't think there's anything wrong with stereotypes.
Not at all.
It is a genre of comedy.
100%.
That's all it is. And they go, oh, but you stereotype. I'm like, yes, correct. $10, just won $10. Yeah.
That's right.
I
What
am
else you meant to do,
stereotyping.
right?
Yeah.
I think the world without music and comedy is a very sad and dangerous life.
I would agree. And I think COVID proved that to us when everyone
Yeah.
turned to those 2 mediums, particularly online.
Was COVID good for you in the beginning, or?
Oh, look, COVID was good for our social platforms, our
Okay.
social media,
Yeah.
because everyone went to social media, and we saw a huge acceleration of all the comics did.
Yeah, right.
People were bored and they just wanted to laugh and
Yeah.
watch things. But it's good and bad. Social media is bittersweet,
Yes.
very bittersweet.
It's a very dangerous platform.
Yeah.
I find it to be, I feel like social media, because back before social media, it was like your area of Melbourne only knows, and the cool areas in Melbourne, people want to go to the cool spots.
Yeah.
Same as in Sydney. But now, because social is such a high platform, you can reach people across the world, and everyone wants to be cool on a platform that's not legitimately real amongst people, except for the true essence of people doing their craft. Otherwise, you can take a photo in front of a car and say, yeah, killing life, when it's not even your car.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm chasing that person's lifestyle.
It can be a very fake world, and people, we can be very gullible.
Yeah,
People believe whatever you put out there.
for sure.
If I just put out there that I've just landed a Hollywood film, believe it.
Yeah, yeah.
I won't question it.
Yeah. But you can.
Now that might be thanks, haven't yet. Now that might be more believable for me because I'm in the acting world, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I could put up anything. I could put up. I've just secured the funds for Ferrari. People
See
go,
that, guys? He's like the Ferrari. Beautiful.
Ferrari. I've got a Mustang though. I've got the wrong horse. Could afford the Mustang, not the Ferrari just yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, social media is, and then it's opened everyone up for comment as well. You know, everyone's an expert on everything.
How do you find that the more success you have, you find more of the so-called know-it-alls coming back at you? How do you deal with stuff like that?
You just got to ignore it. They're just, they're just
They
trolls.
compliment in a negative way.
Yeah, they're just trolls. It's
Yeah.
when you start to get trolls, it's because your content is going further.
That's right.
Because when your content stays with your followers, it's rare to get trolled because your followers are your followers. They're your people. They love your work.
That's right.
So they always go along with you
yeah.
and support you. And whether that's 20 people or 20,000 people, if they're your genuine followers, it's rare to get trolled.
Yep.
The moment you start getting like lots of comments that are negative or abusive or whatever it is, it's because your content's gone further. So I kind of go, when I do get ones that come through, I kind of go, oh, good, the algorithm's working.
Yes,
it's actually
that's right.
pushing my stuff
Yeah.
out because I'm getting all these people. Now, they're not a follower, obviously, but other people, I'll get other people that are.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So that's one way to repurpose. If you get bad negative comments on your content, it's going further online.
And what about on stage if someone